And here we go again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports. This is the post-fight for James Degale versus Caleb Truax. The IBF Super Middleweight Championship of the World was meant to be a routine for James Degale, but Caleb Truax, the American, had other ideas. Now to break down this fight and to share a few extra words regarding this fight before the big ones tonight with Rigondeaux and Lomachenko. I'm your host, Ingram Jones. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button. Smash that like button. Smash the hell out of that like button. And of course, we want to hear your views on the fight tonight. Keep your comments respectful as always. And don't forget, I have an itchy finger and I love hitting the block button. So any nonsense, you will be blocked. Right, so we're going to get into this. Before we actually talk about the actual fight itself, I want to take you back a while. For those of you who've been on the BWTM journey, sports journey, for those of you who are new, then this is a good catch up for you. For those of you who've followed the journey for a while, especially the last year or so, you would understand this, what I'm going to talk about now. This probably is one of the most emotionally high nights for me in boxing. And let me take you back. I talked about James Degale, one of my favorite fighters, and I said when you have a fighter that you like, you have to be honest. You have to be honest about their strengths and weaknesses. And it's a bit difficult to do that when you actually like somebody, because you don't want to see a guy you like lose. You certainly don't want to see a guy you like get beaten up. But when I saw James Degale fight against, it was the first when he fought against Durrell when he won the title. And he knocked Durrell down. He looked good doing it, but he then went into switching off. I saw the same thing against Medina. I saw the same thing against Boutte. And now I've seen the same thing. I saw it against Badu Jack. And I said some key things. I said that Jamie McDonnell, as much as he gets James Degale in great shape, I think he leaves the best of his work in the gym, believe it or not. I also believe that Jimmy McDonnell is not a good technical trainer. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I said before that James Degale's skill level is what, from the amateurs, is what's made Degale so successful as a pro. I think what Jimmy McDonnell does is he trains his man extremely hard. I think he trains him too hard, to the point where I think he's actually biting into his fight time, his actual boxing time as a pro. And I think that's hard training and then hard sparring and then hard fights. You know, of course, it's going to have effect on you, plus the injuries as well. And, you know, for James Degale, injury after injury after injury, as far as I'm concerned, you don't get better after every injury. It takes a little bit away from you every time. I hear people say, after injury, oh, I'm better than ever. No, you can't be better than ever. That means that, you know, your body's perfect when you get it. And then when you get injured and you do rehabilitation, it's better than ever. That's crap. I don't believe that better than ever. I think it's good. I guess you work in an area that was weak that you strengthened, so you think somehow or the other that it's better than ever. It's not better than ever. It's just better than it was when it obviously was out of action. So those are my problems for James Degale right there. Lack defense, used to fighting too much with his back against the ropes, gets hit too often, runs out of gas or tires down the stretch. These are all the things I said about James Degale. And this is a fighter that I like. So there's no biasness here, despite those who don't know me coming in and making their own comment here or there. But anyway, let's not focus on that. But this fight tonight, to me, is like I'm finally getting the message, not just about boxing, but a message about life. And it's like, keep trying, keep working, keep consistent, regardless of what people tell you, what people say, people's opinions. Keep working. You might not see the light. You may see the light at the end of the tunnel when everyone else doesn't see your vision. Keep working, keep trying, regardless of what you may have done in your past, the mistakes you may have made, the things you fell short on, your failures. Don't worry, don't focus on the past. Keep focused, keep trying, keep consistent, keep working hard. You're going to be successful. You're going to get there. If success is what you're focusing on, then you'll keep working hard. You keep putting you keep putting the work in. You will get that success. You will rise to the top eventually. And it's almost like the universe levels things out in the end for you. And I've seen so many people in this world, just this world of boxing alone, that I've seen people who at first thought, no, they're okay, but yeah, I don't know if they'll become world champion. And you know, they turn around to become world champion. They become considered one of the best in the world. You know, so it happens. So I think it's time people get better. They keep working hard. And you don't see what these people do behind closed doors, but they're working very hard. So it gives me great confidence looking at someone like Caleb Truax, who, remember, this is a guy that for some of his career wasn't taking his career seriously, according to his dad. He was a guy that, you know, used boxing to pay off his student loans. It's a guy who's got a master's in African studies. So he's got a career set outside of boxing. So, you know, he's a guy now that's achieved his dreams, and he's achieved more than just his dreams of just having a great education to fall back on. He has now the IBF super middleweight champion of the world. So, you know, Degale now talks about stuff he should have done in camp. I mean, you know, I think anybody who's been interviewed James Degale, got to ask the question. It's a shame. I wish I'd interviewed James. I got the chance to interview James. I'd be asking him, what the hell are you doing in camp? Why is it that you are tiring down the stretch like the way you do? Why is it you getting hit with so many punches? A skillful guy like yourself. These are questions that journalists should be asking. We don't get that in the UK. We've got a lot of guys that like to kiss ass, a lot of guys that like to get free passes and be at press conferences and, you know, be pally-wally with fighters rather than ask the hard questions that need to be asked of a fighter so he can have a reality check. And tonight, Degale's had that reality check. He did nothing for 12 rounds, to be honest. His back was against the ropes from round one. And Caleb Truax, like I said, what he needed to do, stay low, work the body of Degale, push him back against the ropes and keep him there. And that's what Truax did for most of the fight. So, you know what? I'm greatly encouraged. After last week's debacle of boxing, which the MTK Global, which was an absolute travesty for me watching that boxing, a couple of good fighters, a good knockout wins, skillful, but generally it was an absolute bore for 3 hours, and it really put me off boxing. And then I didn't watch Cotto versus Ali, and then I fell asleep last night before Luis Ortiz fought Daniel Marquez, and I was really scathing about that. And then tonight, Caleb Truax, who we've interviewed, I'm really happy. And you know, two people I interviewed that week was Caleb Truax and Eric Scotland. Unfortunately, Scotland is now in a medically induced coma. So we wish him well. He had a bleed on his brain. We wish him well. I hope he recovers. He may never box again, but such a lovely guy, Eric Scotland. And I'm just glad. He was meant to fight Rocky Fielding at the O2 Arena. Now I've got it. And I'm so glad he didn't box the O2 Arena now, because who knows what could have happened. But so glad that hasn't happened. Of course, we want Scotland to make a full recovery. And it was great to talk with him. As for Caleb Truax, we interviewed him as well. A lot of people I could tell weren't interested in what Caleb Truax has got to say. I guess they'll all be wanting to know who Caleb Truax is. Got a great backstory. And one of these guys that was touted to do great things in America, but just didn't rise to the occasion. And I kind of compared Caleb Truax to Liam Cameron, a guy who's got the talent and got the ability, but didn't rise to the occasion. Now Caleb Truax has risen to the occasion. He has not only risen to the occasion, he has gone and done what a lot of people didn't think he could do, which is climb the mountaintop. No matter what people say now, he beat James Degale, who was ranked #1 in the world. I don't care what anybody tells me. He's ranked #1 in the world based on performances. You fight Badou Jack to a draw, which I thought he won that fight, bar the knockdown. Then, you know, he fought against, so that's arguable against Badou Jack, but he won against Butte, he won against Darrell, and he won against Medina. He also fought Brandon Gonzalez. People forget about that fight as well. So, you know, Degale's had a good little run as champion. He may have a point about him being injured, but the biggest point he made in that interview is that, Ingram, you were right. I do need to go and check things out in my camp. You've been trying to do it by yourself for ages, James. You can see it. You need a proper trainer in there with you now. After the new year, goodbye to Jimmy McDonald and learn how to actually box properly now. Use the skills that you've got. Stop slapping, start boxing, start taking a center ring, put your punch together like a real champion. So there's people packing into the room now. Let's hear what you've all got to say. Good evening. Man, that was great. Finally, justice for a challenger in our country, says Mikey. Delighted for so much for Caleb. What a win. Upset of the year, bar none. Al Heyman told Degale he would unify Benavidez after tonight. Whoops. Wow, upset of the year, says DW International. Bill Boxer says, just check, Truax is with Heyman, as same as Degale. So rematch with Degale will happen in the US probably. Badu Jack took something from it. He's in decline now. I said that in the preview to this fight. I said that there's a big possibility that, he got beaten up again. Make no mistake, he got beaten up by, what's his name? Badu Jack. This is what happens when you overlook opponents. Degale was too sure of himself and talking about Benavidez. Benavidez would have put a beating on him. After recent disappointment to Stavern and Carson Jones, the man Caleb Truax has boasted spirits again. A great night of celebration, especially for BWTM Sports. Absolutely. Absolutely. The underdogs win again. But of course, nobody will recognize that. Nobody will see that. People will go back to the Stavern thing. Is Degale now a shot fighter, or did he just rush with his comeback and not recovered from injury? No, I think he's a shot fighter. I think he's definitely on the way down. Hello, everyone. Is this a sign that it could be the night for the underdog team rigging down? He's shot, in my opinion, Slicks, mate. Hell yeah, he was this is very satisfying. I love when cocky fighters get taken down to earth. The guy looked shit, then started blaming his camp. Well, no, his camp's been a problem for ages. I think Riggindam may just pull it off tonight, gut feeling. Please do not caps. David Hayes' best line, that Ingram. Degale reminds me of Groves after the Groves lost to Badu Jack. He's in denial, blaming it on his camp. Yes, it's a factor, but not facing responsibility. His factor, in fact, is this camp is a major problem. I've said it before and I'll say it again. A great night for boxing, regardless of what happened tonight on HBO and ESPN. Now boxing is back. Where is my new video boxing game? Damn it. Don't know about the new one, but check out Evander Holyfield's boxing. The real deal, Evander Holyfield, talking to BWTM Sports, told us he's never played the game before. I told him that, Evander, I enjoy playing Evander Holyfield's real deal boxing. I said, but I've never beaten you. Great game, Evander Holyfield's boxing. If you get a Mega Drive, if you get an emulator, play. There's another game on there where you've got the greatest fighters of all time: Muhammad Ali, Evander Holyfield, Larry Holmes, Rocky Marciano, Sugar Ray Robinson. Absolutely awesome game to get. Mega Drive, brilliant. Seeing that got me thinking over Eubank may beat Groves now. Maybe, maybe not. Well, now Abel Sanchez, you can check that interview out as well. He believes Groves beats Eubank on points, but he also believes Gennady Golovkin versus Groves is a great fight, but Golovkin will beat Groves. Interesting. When a 70-1 underdog wins, maybe a 4-1 underdog like Rico can, LOL. Probably not, though. Loma is an opposite of washed up. He's a world beater in his prime, early in his prime. In fact, his prime against who, though? The cream always rises to the top. I agree. Yes, he will. Eubank is going to walk through Groves, mate. I've been saying it for however long I remember. Agreeing, this is inspiring stuff at 34 and after 10 years in the ring. Seems like Heyman and Frank set up Degale. An African studies degree is not lucrative. I would disagree with you there, my friend. My uncle is a professor of African studies, and he's living a very good life in the Caribbean and living a good life in America. So disagree with you there. And he is a professor in New York. So I don't know where you get that idea from. Eubank will do this to Groves, obviously, when he's a favorite to win. Then we can see the battle of the washed-up British level fighters. Truax fought the perfect fight. He knew Degale's weaknesses and pounced on them. Yep. Nobody's taking into consideration the game plan. Steve Bunt should be sacked for his comments towards the end of the fight, saying Degale had the fight of his life and nicked the last 2 rounds. Absolutely disgusting. Warrington and Warren said it how it was. God help Rio with Woodhall in his corner. I agree. Bunts is a joke. Degale got punked. Darrell will get Truax fight. Don't know about that. The entire commentary was biased. Chris Eubank Jr. would finish Degale in 6 rounds. Yeah, all the smart asses are coming out tonight now. Darrell's pretty much washed up. You see his last fight. Why so negative about MTK show? It's my opinion. If you don't like it, you can go. Can't wait to hear Eubank's thoughts. Woodhall's. There's a lot of people in this room. You have to forgive me. So, well, that went horrifically wrong. Frank Warren is seriously pissed off. Maybe Degale is shocked. He needs a new trainer. Said it before. Think about this. Truax is champion before, and Anthony Andre Dewell, crazy, I agree. Woodhall is on crack pipe. Frank's interview was epic. Degale needs Virgil Hunter. Degale is a 15-round fighter. Ha, 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 ha. Love the way Warrington went up for tickling balls. Heyman set up Degale. Degale set himself up. Commentary was good until BT Sports deal. McDonald's garbage. How long do we need to say it for? Yet people laugh it off and think everything is fine. Degale will just continue as it is. Well, tonight, blew up in his face. Disappointing from Degale. Looked rusty. What was the purse for the Truax fight? Don't know, don't care. Degale is done. Hey, brother, long time no speak. Yeah, but Wolf Boxing, man. Brother, where you been? Finally, Degale gets a proper reality check and will finally drop McDonald, finally. The commentary is so bad on BT. That's why you should be listening to BWTM Sports. How much money did Truax win? I don't give a damn. I don't know how you can expect to win by sitting on the ropes for most of the fight and not throwing anything back. What did Degale actually do? Nothing. The real deal Holyfield game, boxing game was a shit. It was indeed. Just inviting pressure all the time. This shows, just shows you can achieve your goals against odds. And I really do like talking about life and how boxing, I always say boxing and life. Life is boxing and boxing is life. You know, you get knocked down in life, you're going to get up. Sometimes in life, you go for roller coaster, you go through difficult moments. In boxing, you go through difficult moments in life. You know, but it's when you can overcome those challenges in life and you can actually raise the top and become a champion or whatever you want to do in life. So I'm just great. I'm just really encouraged tonight by not just Caleb Truax. I'm encouraged by, you know, reading the sport and seeing something and predicting something to happen way before it happens. And now sticking to my guns and believing what I believe and speaking out on things I want to speak out about, not giving a damn on what anybody thinks and believes and thoughts. Because when people speak their things and speak their truth, they're not accountable. So, but when I speak, I'm held accountable. So I'm going to say how I feel it. And I will speak the truth all the time. And if people like it, they like it. People don't like it, tough. Change the channel. Commentary on BT is at least better than Sky. Commentary on BWTM Sports is better than Sky and BT put together. Degale is no Huey Fury. Huey Fury ducks it at last minute. Gale! 3 most exciting words in boxing. And the new. Are you commentating on Lomo Rigo? I've got to tonight. Gail, if you've got a few minutes, I would love to have you in the room and to hear your thoughts. If you closely, let's see what people. Degale needs a reality check. I'm going to bed in a few hours. Can't wait for Lomo versus Rigo. Don't fall asleep. Mr. M. Hughes, exactly. They admitted rounds were even and gave them to Degale. Disgusting. I thought that too, Nick. That's the importance of trainers and game plans. Yeah, it took a lot of energy and discipline from Truax tonight. He deserves much credit. Degale is shot. He definitely got schooled tonight. Let's see what people are saying. Ray-Ban says, teaches this bitch right, talks too much bullshit, brought him down to earth. Yes, boxing is the perfect metaphor of how we face challenges in life. I've got to get you in the room. I will say that Abel Sanchez is the best trainer. His regime is the finest. Primo. Abel is the Escobar, aggressive, stalking style, walking people down. Gail, this is 2 fights fairly scored. Cotter versus Ali, now Degale versus Truax, outstanding. I'd love to have you in the room if you've got time, Gail. I'll send you the link. If you could confirm, you could. Lethal Bizzle bringing out Yard. It was the best thing of the night. Stop blowing your own trumpet. Yeah, I can blow my own trumpet because I work hard. So I'm going to blow my trumpet because I ain't waiting for gits like you to give me any credit. You should be really proud of yourself tonight, aren't you? I am proud of myself, and I am proud of myself, and I am proud of myself because you guys ain't going to give me no damn credit. And any credit you give me 1 week, you're going to take it away from me. So I'm going to self-promote. I am proud of myself. I did a damn good job tonight. Did a great job in commentary tonight. Caleb Truax did a great job tonight. And altogether, it's been a good night of boxing. So stick it where the sun don't shine if you don't like it. Anybody else got anything positive to say? Send me a link and I'll hop on. Yes. Let's get, some of you people in here think you can just come along, make your comments, not be accountable. But no, it's not happening here. Certainly not happening here. You come on the channel talking crap, I'll give it back to you and more so. Faceless Wonders. BWTM, you love Abel and Gennady. I don't say I love Gennady, but I will say that I enjoy Abel. Yeah, big up yourself. You got to big up yourself because you know what? I can't wait for you to give me any credit. You don't do shit for me. So what am I going to give you? What am I going to say anything to you for? Huh? Big up yourself. Big up everybody out here. Big up your chest. Even James Degale, big up your chest because you're still getting paid tonight, son, and you get the rematch as well. Uncle said weeks ago that Degale was on the slide. It's you lot that didn't listen. BWTM knows his boxing. Well, some people say I don't know my boxing, but hey, listen to the commentary tonight. I even gave you the info on how to beat James Degale. I said Truax into tuck up tight, keep Degale back against the ropes, and work the body. What happened? Tell me what happened. All you haters of this channel can F off. I agree. Let's get Gale in the room. Gale, I've got to get you in the room. This is a lady, Gale Falcon. I think, in my opinion, should be getting a big job doing commentary and should be doing a lot of presenting. I really believe she's a fantastic host. And I'm going to be introducing you again to Gale Falkenthal. Let's get Gale in the room. Gale, I'm going to bring you into the room. Let's see. Let's get Gale. G-A-Y. Gale. Gale. Let's see. Okay, Gale, I've just sent a link to you via Twitter. I look forward to having you in the room in a moment. Gale was excellent in the great debate. Hook me up with a link. I've got you hooked up now. Listen to Ingram's live streams for a while ago. Technical analysis, he calls it as he calls it all the time. When does Dan Raphael ever break down a fight? Yeah, all you guys love to kiss ass of Dan Raphael. Ask me when he's ever broken down a fight ever. Realistic, and who knows? Imagine Degale sneakily put 1 million on Truax to win. Who knows? Jumping on. Only thing Dan Raphael breaks down is a buffet. BY in 40 minutes. Yeah, I want to see. Hook me up on Twitter. Yeah, if you want to follow us on Twitter, give us a follow on Twitter. Please subscribe to our channel as well. By the way, just a question. Haven't you got a Facebook account? To join us on Facebook, really get in the conversations there. We've got quite a few people in our Facebook group now. We haven't got a big Facebook group, to be fair, but I haven't pushed it. Got to start pushing it. Let me get my Facebook page up as well. Somebody just said, from the gods of boxing, sea-level fighters, the attack of the sea-level fighters. Well, I won't say Truax was a sea-level fighter. He fought well tonight. He took his opportunities and took them well. So fair play to Caleb Truax. We look forward to getting the interview with Caleb Truax afterwards. There we go. Let's just Gale should be in the room shortly. Here we go. And I'm proud for Caleb Truax as well. Not just a good fighter, but a guy who's gone and got himself an education as well. Oh, I think this is Gale in the room.
Gale is in the room.
Gale is in the house, people. Gale, you can take over the whole show now. How are you?
3 of the best words you ever hear in boxing. Shall we say it together? The 3 best words in boxing. And the new. Outstanding, highly entertaining fight. And everyone in boxing should be heartened by the good judging we've had the last couple of weeks. Really, really good judging. We're quick to call out the judges when they get it wrong. Let's call them out when they get it right.
The judges got it right for the fight with Degale. I thought that Degale didn't. I personally thought the judges scored it quite high for Degale when I thought Degale was like that scored. One of the judges scored it as a draw. Nowhere was that fight a draw.
Yes, but that's why there are 3. There's 2 judges to override one judge's misperception, shall we say. So when you see 116 to 112, 115 to 112, you know, considering the home crowd and how that it does influence judges, they're human beings, they hear it, they hear the excitement, they feel the excitement, that'll take a round or 2 off easily. when a home crowd is into it that much, because they ooh and awe, and it simply does affect them. They don't judge in a vacuum. However, you see 116 to 112, 115 to 112, even given the home field, outstanding. Outstanding. I have absolutely no argument with that. It's much easier to judge when you're sitting at home. You see all the television angles. You do not feel the emotion of the crowd in the same way. And that has to be taken into account.
Absolutely. I think that's one thing I need to do. I need to sit near the judges and actually pretend I'm judging a fight for the night, because then you get a real sense. Every time I've gone to a bout, it's either me been recording about or me, maybe recording about or running around interviewing people. I've never actually sat down at a bout and watched the fight.
And there are so many other intangibles when you're sitting ringside. You see the anxiety or the confidence of the corner. You notice other activity in the room, any other concerns. You may see physicians conferring off on the side. You don't hear the commentary, and like it or hate it, you hear that. All of that stuff gets processed and absorbed, whether you're cognizant of it or not. So truly judging in a vacuum, close up, at ringside, is a different story. So for any fan who has never been at a close ringside seat with all those variables, cut the judges a break once in a while. They're seeing something very, very different than you do.
Let's hope those same judges can fly over for Rigondeaux and Lomachenko.
Oh, well, let's start talking about that already, because we are ready. We can't wait.
Absolutely.
I've been telling people, don't call me. Don't knock on my door today. Boxeo all day today. An early Christmas present for all. And, in the United States, we've also got the card that is running on Home Box Office After Dark tonight from Las Vegas, which if you don't like the technicians, the precise action that you're going to see, the defensive skills, the beautiful athleticism of Rigondeaux and Lomachenko, if you just like a all-out brawl, we got that too. We've got that tonight too. And there will be nothing elegant at all about any of the fights going on in Las Vegas. And there's an appetite for that too. That's okay. We like to see these guys getting it on once in a while.
Fantastic. Gail, for those people who don't know who you are, and just to reintroduce yourself to our listeners tonight.
I will. Obviously, by the accent, you can tell I am an American. I am a Southern Californian native. I live in San Diego, California, or born and raised. I spent many years as a broadcaster, although not in sports, because when I started, they didn't let girls do things like that. God forbid boxing. But through a twist of fate, after I left broadcasting full time, I acquired my own boxing column. Thank you, Internet. And here I am. And I've done work, just full disclaimer, I have done work for the promoter Main Events in the United States, but primarily I am an objective boxing columnist. And on various YouTube channels and panel discussions, I do let my opinion be seen by all. So here I am. And that belt I'm holding at the time was in the possession of one Francisco Vargas, who we're going to see tonight as well.
Wow.
Who I was at a media event with and inexplicably handed it to me.
Yeah, very nice.
I don't know why. And then I thought, oh, my God, man, if I drop this in front of you, my life is over.
It's nice to, nice to feel the champion's belt. It's a great feeling. I tell you, when I saw Golovkin's belts, I saw all the belts lined up on the table when he was defending them against Kell Brook. I think that's the closest I've been to all the main governing body titles. That night was that day. It was unbelievable seeing all the belts. Like it was unreal watching all the belts. The only belt that obviously wasn't there was the WBO belt, but other than that.
Well, let me tell you, folks, if you've never picked one up, they weigh a bit. They weigh something.
They do.
I mean, you don't have to be a power lifter to pick one up, but you can tell it didn't come out of a cereal box. My goodness, there's some heft to it. I'll tell a story about a belt. At the card that was at Madison Square Garden over the Thanksgiving weekend on the 26th, one of the undercard fighters, youngster in the boxing laboratory camp up there in Oxnard, California, won some kind of minor European belt. I don't even remember what it was. These are all prospects and very excited to be in the United States boxing. And I happened to be at the airport with Abror Tusin Palatev, who is Sergey Kovalev's new trainer, and all these guys, and they don't really speak much English. We were all going through the airport together. And this kid had put his belt in his duffel bag. Not in the case, not in cargo. No, he didn't want it to be too far away from him. As you might imagine, that thing set off quite a few security alarms, and we had to explain what it was to a very confused TSA agent.
Wow.
It was ridiculous. And I looked at him and I thought, it was Bakram Nursultanov. And I said, Sultan, not supposed to put those things in your luggage. Oh. Around with his dirty shorts in there and the whole thing. It's just like, man, no, leave it in the case. It's okay. It'll make it back. I promise. Don't do that. And thankfully we had an agent who was pretty agreeable. And I said, well, he was just sort of excited. And she said, well, we really didn't know what he had in there. It was pretty dense on the scanning machine. Yeah. Anyway, fantastic day of boxing. And right at the end of the year.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Absolutely. Let's get in these fights.
Gail,
I have to ask you, Ingram, are you as worried about James Degale as I am? That post-fight interview concerned me a lot. He was not himself.
I was concerned about James Degale before that fight. I said it's only a matter of time before somebody knocks Degale's teeth. It makes Degale swallow his own teeth. That's what I said. Right. Degale lacks defense. He lacks a proper coach, technical coach. He fights too much of back against ropes. He tires after 6 rounds, and also, he's now using his chin as his defense. I've been saying this for ages about James Degale, and fight after fight, he's got progressively worse. And you can't keep coming back from injuries and saying, I'm better than ever, because that's a lie. You don't come back from an injury getting better than ever at every single fight. Every other fight, he's coming back from injury. Oh, I didn't have my left arm for this fight. I didn't have my left leg for that fight. I didn't have my right toe for that fight. He didn't have this. He's never had everything together, apart from when he stopped somebody. And the last time he stopped somebody, wasn't it Brandon Gonzalez? How many years ago that was? So I love James Degale. He's one of my favorite fighters. But what I put on tonight was garbage, and he needs to seriously look at himself. And I've always believed James Degale's career has been based heavily on his amateur ability. Up to now, as a pro, he hasn't really learned how to fight like a pro properly. And I'd love to see him work with a guy like a Virgil Hunter, only because Virgil Hunter will teach him some defense. Better still, a Ronnie Shields. I'd love to see Degale and Ronnie Shields working together. Your thoughts?
I agree. I think he does need a defensive trainer. Should he decide to continue? I agree with you. I like James Degale. I like his approach, his attitude. He's sellable. He's exactly what boxing needs in many ways. But I hate to use the word shop worn, but it's starting to apply. Yes. He cannot take this kind of punishment very much longer and expect to live a good long life outside the ring after boxing.
You got to remember,
his brains were scrambled tonight. That post-fight interview, I don't know whether it was, he didn't, his teeth weren't in or what was going on, the slurring, the disjointed sentences. I mean, clearly he knew what he was being asked and he was forming thoughts. But as I listened to him repeating the same answers, essentially sort of searching for what had happened, I grow more and more concerned hearing that.
Delusional, Gail. Delusional. That's what it is.
Well, delusional maybe. And we've all seen fighters get out of a fight they clearly lost and say they won, and I thought I won, and so forth. But this was a man searching for his thoughts. He was not putting together his thoughts. Is that is that a result of having lost a shocker, or is that a result of his synapses aren't firing properly because he's been so battered?
It's because of that Badou Jack fight. He got beaten up. People forget he got beaten up in that Badou Jack fight.
He got beaten up in the Porky Medina fight.
There you go.
That one was a super punishing fight. Porky Medina is the nightmare opponent because he might lose, but you're going to pay for it every single time. When Porky fought, here we had Porky and Chunky, what a fight. Then you've got a similar fight with the young David Benavidez, who had to run the Porky Medina gauntlet and did very, very nicely. But Medina, as we like to say in the Western United States, poured a 55-gallon drum of whoop ass on Degale. It was not pretty. You cannot fight like that very often in your career and expect to come out in one piece.
You know something? I'm giving David Lemieux another look. Because, Gail, what I've really, this year of boxing in particular, I've spent a lot of time to really not just listen to the interviews, but listen to what the fighters are not saying and really kind of walk in their shoes as much as I can during these interviews and be more intuitive. And the one thing I'm picking up is if you keep on knocking at the door, eventually you're going to knock that door down. It might take you time, but like a tree, you keep chopping and chopping and chopping, it falls down. Now, the Lemieux fight, I've said before and I'll say it again, Billy Joe Saunders, like James Degale, gives you opportunities. Like James Degale, tires down the stretch. Like James Degale, has concentration issues, lapses concentration. I don't care what many people tell me about. Well, he's got Dominic Ingle in the corner. Dominic Ingle didn't save Kell Brook, right? Dominic Ingle can't save Saunders. And I say this, the one thing, I call Lemieux an ignorant puncher, but the one thing about David Lemieux, for sure, is a puncher. There's no guessing about what Lemieux is. He is just a puncher. He's a slugger. He's not a boxer because he can't box, but he punches, and he punches tremendously hard. And when I look at Billy Joe Saunders, he's never fought a guy remotely in the sort of punching power that Lemieux brings and the sort of savagery Lemieux brings when he throws his punches. And if you haven't got a good enough chin, even Golovkin had to shit punches from Lemieux. And if Willie Monroe can land on Saunders, Lemieux must stand a hell of a chance now.
I agree. I like David Lemieux. You're right. He's not an artful fighter. We're not going to see any sort of skills like we'll see tonight between Rigondeaux and Lomachenko from Lemieux, ever. This is not going to happen.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that he doesn't use the most of what he's got.
Exactly.
And one of Lemieux's most powerful weapons, which I firmly believe he's developed since his encounter with Golovkin, is letting his emotion drive him in a positive way. Good fighters need to be able to marshal a mean streak. They need to be able to flip that switch. And Lemieux has figured out how to do that. We can laugh about all the trash talk and build up and making somebody an enemy in your eyes. But before he fought Curtis Stevens, when they were both in separate bouts on the Canelo Khan undercard, the post-fight interviews, those two sat together next to each other on two chairs as they were all taking turns answering questions. And you could see them sort of, having a little side conversation, very congenial, comments and laughs and so forth. They both fought good fights. Yeah. Clearly no animosity between them. Genuine respect as colleagues. The minute they were facing each other, Lemieux let Stevens have it. And Stevens has been known to trash talk. Lemieux suddenly kicked his trash talk into another gear. And then he wiped the floor with Stevens. I'm sure afterward they went out and had a cocktail. So he's doing the same thing with Saunders. It served him well. It makes him focus. Yes. And that's sometimes with a guy with certain narrow ranges of skill, they've just got to say, this is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I bring, and
Mm-hmm.
focus and make it work. And to his credit, he has. And how quickly can we both get tickets to Montreal? That's what I want to know.
If I get a ticket, I'll be there tomorrow. But
Let's
you know
do it.
something? Saunders is Lemieux is a live dog in this fight, a very live dog, and it only takes one shot from Lemieux, one shot.
That's right. And that's absolutely right. And he's a good body puncher.
Mm-hmm.
That you get hit by one of those, and there's very little coming back from it. And I think he will do whatever it takes in those first few rounds to back Saunders up and make him a little more afraid than he was before he stepped into the ring, and a little more cautious. And once that happens, it's over for Saunders. It's over.
I'm very concerned about Billy Joe Saunders fighting Lemieux. Very, very, very concerned, because it seems to be a reoccurring pattern within boxing of guys who don't really get it together at first, and they lose fights, and then people forget about them and diss them to one side, and then they come back, and then they put it together on one night, and all Lemieux has to do is put it together on one night. One of those rounds where Saunders decides to hold his feet, which he does when he starts to tire. And fighters have repeated patterns. And Saunders is one of these guys. After round 6 and 7, he holds his feet. He stands in the center of the ring, and he allows you to fight with him. And if Lemieux hasn't been knocked down, he hasn't been hurt, and he's still there in round 6, round 8, and he lands them bombs, Billy Joe Saunders has got problems. I'm telling you. He's got all the skills in the world, but he has never fought anybody who punches like Lemieux. And that, when you've got all that skill and you do all that stuff, and then you get hit for somebody who hits you harder than you've never been hit in your career. And Lemieux has fought Golovkin.
Yes, he has. Well, not only has Lemieux fought Golovkin, I would implore everybody to go back and look at a fight that you've probably all forgotten, which is when Lemieux fought.
Gary, there?
Yeah, let me take a look at when I'm looking back at this fight. I actually have to look at Lemieux's record to give everyone the proper date on this thing. Let's see. Give me a moment. Keep talking. I need to pick up a record here. And
I think what surprises me about some of these people, they think because if a trainer gets into one fight, suddenly a fight is going to change. It normally takes about 3, 4 to 5, even 4 to 5 fights before you start to see a trainer change a fighter.
Yes.
Billy Joe Saunders has been fighting this way for years.
Yes, here it is. And pardon me, everybody. It was not Pascal. I highly recommend you go look up Lemieux's June 20th, 2015 fight against Hassan Andam.
I was watching that. That was the fight I watched where he knocked Nadal.
A war unlike very many others you've ever seen. An absolute war. And a lot of people missed that fight because it was on the same night as the fight between Adrian Broner and Marcos Maidana. So many people, and for inexplicably, the Lemieux and Dom fight did not air on North American television at all. You had to go search for it. So a lot of people have missed that fight. How those two men ended that fight on their feet is inexplicable to me. And it shows how tough both of them are. But Lemieux unleashed some just hellfire damage on Ndam. Just amazing. If he can marshal even half of that against Saunders, Saunders is going to crumple like a piece of paper.
People are not listening. People are not listening. They're still not listening. People are still not listening to us, Gail. The thing is, these people, they don't learn. They're not listening. They're not learning. See, you learn from fights. You learn from one fight to another. Caleb Truax coming in tonight against James Degale and got stopped by Jacobs. He got stopped by Darrell. He got beat by a Taylor. Right? These are fights where Caleb Truax didn't put it together and he lost, and people ignored Caleb Truax. And I compared Caleb Truax to the guy we've got in the UK from Sheffield called Liam Cameron, a middleweight as well. And he put it together. He was a guy that when he came to the highest level, for some reason, found a way to lose. And then he fought against the Commonwealth champion the other day, and he beat the Commonwealth champion. A lot of people are just saying, oh, well, Saunders. I want to ask people where Saunders has fought a guy that punches with the one-punch knockout power of somebody like Lemieux. When you have a lack of concentration and a big puncher, there's a problem. There's a problem. That spells for danger. Because you lack the concentration, bang, your lights are out.
Absolutely. A fight like tonight, yeah, you know, if Degale and Lomachenko lose their focus for a moment, it's unlikely they're going to be staring up at the ceiling, regaining consciousness. But in a fight with a guy like Lemieux, that can easily happen. You cannot lose focus. And and that's the other intangible of allowing your opponent to get you emotionally worked up about a fight. When Lemieux goes after Saunders and he takes the bait with the trash talk and, you know, the nasty business outside the ring, that's a brilliant psychological tactic, because if you get somebody emotional and get them red hot in front of you, they lose the focus on what they need to be paying attention to. Instead, they're sitting there angry. They waver off the game plan, and that's when it's lights out.
I think a lot of people are trying to compare Golovkin's performance against Lemieux and Lemieux's performance against Saunders. Two totally different fighters. First of all, Southpaw orthodox. That's the first thing. Difference is that Golovkin is a world-class puncher. Saunders, we don't know if he's a world-class puncher. I mean, he's a good puncher, but he's not a world-class puncher. So that's another thing. So I struggle with people who just, and the thing is, when you get a world-class trainer like Abel Sanchez saying he has to box a perfect fight, an actual trainer who's in a gym, who's got over 20, 30 years experience of boxing, and says Saunders has to box the perfect fight to beat Lemieux. When he says that, and then you've got people in here who, some of them have never been in a gym before, never had an understanding of the science of the sport. See, I'm listening to these people, I'm thinking, if Sanchez has seen it this way, and I'm seeing other people as well, and I'm watching the repeated pattern of Billy Joe Saunders, right? He's got a trainer. This is the second fight he's got with Dominic Ingle. Now, the first fight he had against William Monroe Jr., let's be honest, Monroe was fighting himself in the ring. He didn't know if he wanted to win the fight, he wanted to lose the fight, whether he wanted to get a plane back home to America, whether he wanted to stay in England. He didn't know what he was doing. He was Jekyll and Hyde in the ring. Lemieux is very different. Lemieux is going to come straight forward, and he's going to come chucking bombs. So Saunders is going to have to keep the jab in his face, the right jab in his face all night long. And if he doesn't, and if he stops for 1 second, if you're getting nailed by other fighters that are lesser than the guys you fought, lesser than Lemieux punches, there's a problem. And you've got to look at somebody's track records and what they've done in boxing and the repeated patterns they've done. And at the end of the day, when I look at someone like Billy Joe Saunders, down the stretch, he tires and he does get caught.
The other advantage we have in boxing is we can triangulate two fighters together, like Lemieux and Saunders, against their common opponents, aka Willie Monroe. You see that Golovkin fought both Lemieux and Monroe. Who gave Golovkin a better fight? It's not even a question. Golovkin mopped the floor with Monroe. He toyed with him like a cat with a dead mouse. And, Monroe had a no moss moment. In that fight, he said, I'm done. I'm done. So, that's to say that Saunders had his way with Monroe, who cares? Versus seeing Golovkin get a very strong fight from Lemieux. He was certainly no pushover, but it became a war of attrition. So, because Golovkin and Abel Sanchez, who, in my opinion, Abel had one of the most brilliant nights of his coaching career with his strategy for Golovkin against Lemieux. Because he told, instead of Golovkin coming in to body punch Lemieux, he unleashed a jab that was equally as nasty as any body punch, over and over, snapping poor David's head back and with that unfortunate haircut he had that night, it looked even worse than it probably was.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yep.
Brilliant for able to keep saying to Gennady, you keep jabbing. Don't land power punches. Jab him, and to see a jab like that, you appreciate a puncher who can jab with power, and what a wicked weapon that is. Maybe it's not the flashiest weapon in the world, but damn, is that effective, and it's something you just don't ever see coming.
See,
the jab isn't really supposed to hurt like that.
The thing is about the other thing is boxing fans tend to forget about how a boxer boxes. They fight in patterns. Boxers fight in patterns. They you can look at their record and say, people say, oh, well, Saunders is going to box. He's going to hold on. All of Saunders fights, every single one of Saunders fights. In the second half of the fight, he holds his feet and starts to trade. Even the fight he had against what's this guy's name? Against Willie Monroe. In the second half of the fight, he started to tie. He allowed Willie Monroe to land shots on him. I keep saying it. I keep saying it. I keep saying it. So, but you know what? We could go around this in circles. Next Saturday night, it's another fight. It's another examination of the things that we say, another examination to see whether we're calling fights correctly, if we're reading into fights correctly. Again, this is all a learning process for us all.
Well, and to your point, the learning process is so important in boxing. And many fighters who've had triumphs late in a career after losses, those triumphs come because of the losses, because learning occurs, because they absorb what happened and realize why it happened and make the corrections. Many people believe that Canelo Alvarez wouldn't be as good a fighter as he is today if he hadn't lost to Floyd Mayweather, which made a huge impression on him. Caleb Truax, he's clearly learned from the losses that he's had. Two very good fighters. You know, Caleb Truax didn't lay down for journeyman, you know, didn't get beaten into submission by anybody. Those three losses were very, you know, they were, so what's the word I'm looking for with Caleb Truax? You know, those were very honest losses. He gave good efforts, and he lost to quality opponents. I mean, except, you know, we could argue about Anthony Durrell, but right. You know, to lose to Jermaine Taylor, and you know, who was still in pretty good form at that time. That was 2012, and then to lose to Danny Jacobs. There's no shame in that. The shame is if you don't learn from it. And he clearly has. And good for him to get up off the canvas after you've got those losses and keep coming. As you said, to me, there's no more thrill to see somebody succeed when they keep trying, when they keep getting better, they keep learning. I don't care if somebody's got an unblemished record. If they really haven't shown me anything, if they've fought layup fights all their life because some promoter is protecting them, what's the point of that? Get in there, compete, take a loss or two, learn, get better.
Absolutely. Gail, I believe that Bryant Jennings is he's fighting tonight. I think he's fighting shortly in the next 10
He is, yes.
Yes.
What, in about 15 minutes, I believe.
Yep, so we have to get ready for that. Do you have any final thoughts before we watch Rigondeaux and Lomachenko tonight?
Oh, well, we had our great debate. And for those that missed it, you know, you've still got time to go back and listen to that before the fight tonight. I would highly recommend that. An excellent discussion. It only got a little, there were a few little boiling bubbles on the bottom of the pan, just right near at the end. Otherwise, it was extremely smart, informative, and a very congenial debate. To call it a debate is to not give it enough credit to the participants. So I urge you to listen. We came away scoring at a draw. I hope the fight tonight is a little more definitive than that. Ingram, I think youth will be served tonight, but we're all going to be on the edge of our seats until we find out what the result is.
I believe tonight, this is the strategy I think is going to happen. I think Rigondeaux is going to come out and he's going to shock the world. I think he's going to come out and he's going to fight. This is what
Well, we heard it here first.
I think he's going to come out and he's going to. I'm not saying he's going to win the fight, but what I am saying, he's going to come out and he's going to come to fight, not box, not run around the ring. Fight. He's going to hold his feet, set a ring, and look to knock Lomachenko out with every punch he can. And do you know why I'm saying this? Because he knows that they already have it in for him. He knows that his back is against the wall, and a guy like Rigondeaux knows his back is against the wall. So he's going to come out looking to knock Lomachenko out because he knows he can't win the fight on points. So his back's against the wall. Young Master's going to have to show himself tonight like never before. So he'll either try hard or he'll go home. It's as simple as that tonight. I expect.
Wow. Well, I think if Rigondeaux makes it a brawl, I think he'll lose. Unless he does it strictly to throw Lomachenko off stride and then returns to form. I see the first few rounds as very different. I think it will be a puzzle that Lomachenko has to solve in the first few rounds. And I do see that Rigo will probably win the first few rounds until Lomachenko figures him out. And it won't be easy for him. I do think that will be the toughest part of the fight is how do I manage this guy in the ring? He's different than any other animal I've had in front of me, really, as a professional. But if they turn it into a brawl, and I'm going to circle back to something we've just been talking about. The one loss on Lomachenko's record is to Orlando Salido, who turned the fight into a brawl. Now Loma knows what that's like. He's ready for it. And I think he has put those weapons in his own arsenal. So if Rigo wants to make it a brawl, I think he's going to be making a very big mistake, especially with clearly a bigger man.
Well, clearly a big amount. How much should Donaire weigh the night that they fought?
Well, that's a good question. But that was talk about a shocking fight, and talk about a man having a bad night. That was about the worst night in a boxer's career imaginable for Donaire, who could not have been riding higher until he ran into that buzzsaw. Right. What a fight. My God. And I like Donaire as an individual and I like what he stands for, but boy, that was a rough fight. The question though, what I have not checked today is there was a rehydration clause this morning. They could not rehydrate beyond 138. Do we know where they were this morning? I don't know where they stood. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
I will look that up, and we will post that somewhere on Twitter and double check that. But be very curious what they rehydrated to. But then they still have got today.
Well, listen, but even if they hydrate, it's going to be water on the body. So it's just water, as James Elibashir said, it's just water. I mean, they hydrate out water. It
is, but if they do it right and the rehydration goes to muscle versus just, being processed through the kidneys, the right nutrition, the right prep, knowing that you've got this 36-hour period or so before the fight.
Yeah.
Some guys really know how to work that well. Why all boxers don't hire nutritionists in today's day and age, I don't know, but many of them don't. It's inexplicable to me.
We'll have to see in Lomachenko's career, has he blown up in weight once he's weighed in on the night? That's what you got to find out in his career.
Well, and will both of them step on the scale tonight? Sometimes that's all completely voluntary. They may decide no after we got on the scale this morning. That's it.
Yeah, it might do. But I think the key thing for tonight for both, it's just who's going to be able to get away with making mistakes. That's what I want to know tonight. Out of the two guys, who's going to get away making the most mistakes? Because both guys are counter punches. Both guys like to make you miss, like to make you pay. But who is going to make the most mistakes tonight? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fascinating. There's nothing more fun than a true 50-50 fight going in. And with guys that have not been tested in this way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Lomachenko has, in many ways, made a better, swifter switch to the professional ranks, despite Rigondeaux's head start on him. I think the 2 years of relative inactivity is going to hurt Rigo.
Okay.
His 112-round fight in the last few years was absolutely horrible, and I was ringside for that against Francisco. It was an awful fight, and that was a night where he asserted before the fight he was going to bring on a huge performance. Oh, we were going to see a new Rigo. Yeah, he was very aggressive, and it couldn't have been more disappointing. And it didn't help that we had just seen Vargas and Mura. So it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
A few hours away, everybody. We can't wait. Let's go see what Bryant Jennings still has in the tank.
Absolutely.
I'm curious.
How do people follow you, Gail, if they want to follow you?
Thank you for asking. I'm on Twitter under my nom de guerre, PR Pro San Diego. PR Pro San Diego, which is my skills that pay the bills.
Okay. And is there anywhere else people can see the work that you do?
I write for a general news website in the United States called Communities Digital News. Communities Digital News, which is COM, C-O-M-M, Digi, D-I-G-I, News, comdiginews.com.
Gail, thank you so much. Will we see you later on?
Yes, you will.
Fantastic. And people asking, do you have a YouTube channel?
I do not. But I do appear as a panelist weekly on the Pound for Pound Boxing Report, P4P Boxing Report. I'm generally on there every week.
With our friend Mike.
Yes. Mike Wilson. Brother JR.
Brother JR, that's the one. Gail, I shall see you later on.
Yes, sir.
People saying you need your own YouTube channel. I agree.
We'll consider it.
Okay. That's great. Gail, we'll see you later on. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. We'll catch you all later tonight.
See you later.
Enjoy the fights.
Bye-bye.